Hi everyone, Jill here. Welcome to my channel. We're going to be doing a full face of makeup today. Going to be using a little bit of both drugstore makeup and non-drugstore makeup to create this look. I'm going to go ahead right now and show you a sneak peek so you can decide if it's a look that you would like to stick around for. Consider this still a nice soft summer look, even though I'm wearing gray, a dark gray, which we associate more probably in winter, but it's one of my favorite colors. I love wearing black and gray all year long, and that doesn't mean it needs to confine us makeup wise to just grays and very sort of blah neutrals. So I have grown to really like this foundation a lot. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour makeup. I still feel like I need to do one of two things to get the finish that I like, which is more of a dewy finish. I find this goes on sort of matte for me, at least. So I have to do either a nice sort of glow bronzer in the background, sort of a liquid bronzer, and or what I did today is I made sure to add a nice lipid segment to my morning skincare routine, as well as making sure I have some hyaluronic acid in there as well to keep my skin dewy all day long. This plays very well with all of that, which is nice because not all foundations will, and it will break up through the day. This is working out really nicely. So let's go ahead and do this. I like to just put my foundation right on top of my sponge. This is color 202, by the way. So next I do go in with my concealer. Some of you have a preference of doing your eyes first and then your makeup to control, if you had any fallout, you can deal with it then. I just have always done it this way. It works out fine for me. So I'm going to go in with my go-to concealer. This is the Too Faced Born This Way. Is this called the Sculpting Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer? I use it in the color Snow. I do like to go a few shades lighter than my foundation with my concealer because I'm not looking for it necessarily to match my foundation. I'm looking for a little bit of a brightening highlight, not with glowiness, but as for the color, I do like to go for a lighter concealer. Not white, I don't need it too light, but I do like the brightening effect I can get with choosing a shade or two lighter than my foundation. Okay, I'm going to use something new to me. I'm really excited about it. It's the Patrick Ta. This is the Four Face. This is a really cool sort of contour bronzing palette. It's different. First of all, the actual palette itself is beautiful. It's kind of a rose gold, kind of very shiny compact, feels good. Now this isn't drugstore brand, Patrick Ta. You can get it at Ulta. I'm not sure about Sephora, maybe have those reversed, but I'm gonna put the link to it down below in the description box. I really am curious about it because this is a cream and this is a powder. And I just thought, I'm very intrigued by this. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a shot. Brush. This is a Bare Minerals brush, slightly angled. I just think it works out great. I've used it for powder contours as well. It just sort of lays in and it's beveled nicely just for this kind of application. So this is the light palette. They do have one that has darker colors in it, but I thought, ooh, I'm very fair, I better be careful. So I'm gonna just kind of load this up. And obviously I can't powder before I do this, you know, set. So I'm gonna set after I do this. Now, bronzing or contouring can be very tricky if you have fair skin, because even when you're contouring and trying to find a contour color, it can turn orange through the day. It's very common for that to happen, or look orange or look dirty if it's too ashy. So I think for me, the biggest sort of hurdle is finding a color for my contour that doesn't do those things. I generally use powder matte eyeshadows for this. And so again, I was just really intrigued. The reviews said this particular light palette is working out great, and they have very fair skin, and things do tend to turn orange on those the people who reviewed. So I thought, okay, you've got my attention. I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I'm also going to just really lightly take this contour cream, because I haven't powdered yet, and I'm going to contour my nose with it. So now you need to ask yourself, is there any other creams that I want to use? Use them before you set. I'm done with my creams. All right, I'm going to set now with my Too Faced Born This Way setting powder. This is the translucent. I'm going to go ahead and load this brush, and I'm going to put this slightly above where we contoured. Now, I'm not using this as a blush. I'm still trying to figure out if I like this, so I'm going to continue to use it. This is the Physicians Formula Multicolored Bronzing Powder. I don't know if you can see, but it does have multicolors in there, including kind of a nice light pink. So if you're neutral in skin tone like I am, you might like that, actually. And I'm going to bronze right in here. I do like to leave this bright, kind of the center of my face. Again, bronzing is different than contouring. Look at it as kind of being sun-washed. You can bring it over your cheeks and your nose. I really like this blush. This is Catrice. This is their blush box. And this particular color is 020. It's called Glistening Pink. I'm going to go right in with the Buxom highlighter. This is the WanderLust White Russian highlighter, and I love this. I really do. probably hearing a lot of background noise. I apologize. We have some landscape maintenance people outside. I'm trying to edit it out as best as I can. Sorry about that. So for the eyes, I reached for this. This is my Tarte RainForest palette. I forgot I had this dang thing, and it's gorgeous. So we're going to create a look out of this. It's very pretty. So I'm going to do an all over wash with this color right here. I generally like matte washes. This one is not, but that's okay. It'll be okay. The payoff is fantastic. I love good payoff, even on these lighter colors. So I don't have to go in a gajillion times to get a good wash coverage that I like. Plus it's brightening for me right in through here. And it's pretty. This, by the way, you guys, is one of my all-time favorite brushes. It's an IT Cosmetics. I will link this down below. It is my wash brush, and I just try to stick to really light colors on this. So my next one is such a color, so I'm going to continue to use this. And I'm going to go to this one here, which is the one right next to the one we just used. This one here. I'm going to go ahead and load this up. We're going to start very lightly, kind of making some depth, I guess, creating some depth to this look. All right, I'm gonna switch over to a nice soft sort of transition brush, and I'm gonna go right through here, right? I'm gonna use this color right here. I'm gonna just load the tips of that, knock it off really well, and really pack, tap, and put it right in here. I'm going to load again. And I like to start my application right about here. I don't want to start it too low because I want the majority of this to be right in this area. I have found that I have to start my application up a little higher than I used to these days. I want to avoid putting this color down just too low because it does draw my face down. And I just have found that starting it here reminds me of that. I'm going to go into this right down here. It's like a mahogany dark chocolate. It's very pretty. Not one of these colors in this palette is matte, truly matte. They're not crazy, but they're definitely more satiny, just to let you know. Gonna have to grab my 5x mirror now for this. And if you've seen me do this and do several eye looks, you know this is just how I do my looks for the most part. So again, I'm packing, I'm really laying this down exactly where I want it. We're going to go in with this color with a nice pencil brush. This is not a true coal black. This does have the tiniest bit of coolness, a little bit of blue to it almost. So that's kind of nice. Knock it off really, really well. And I'm gonna really lift up this tissue right next to my lash line. As we age, it sort of microscopically falls over that lash line. So to get a really tight application right next to the lashes, you may find that you have to lift that a little bit and go kind of underneath first. Don't flick too much. This is going to be a dark color and we don't want a big mess going on. So it's really just kind of lifting, tapping, and moving it around. Again though, be careful. Be careful not to bring this out too far. You really want to stop it right at sort of that outside corner of the nose, outside corner of the eye line if your goal is to kind of keep things going up. I'm going to really wipe off the same brush. Wipe it off really good down here on a towel. And there is a color right here. It's like a light gunmetal. It's really pretty. I'm gonna line the lower lash line with that color. I'm gonna even tap it off a couple times here on my towel down below here. And again, I'm gonna just sort of tap and slightly move it. It's best to have to reload if you need to, rather than go in too heavy and end up with a mess. I think I'm really, really careful in general because I have already put on my makeup and I've already, you know, done my concealer. So I've learned to just be careful. So we are done with our eyeshadows. Next, we're going to curl the eyelashes because it opens the eyes. It also makes it really easy to tight line after you do it. So let's curl our eyelashes. So I'm going in with the Essence. This is the deepest black that they make, and it's the kind that you twist from the bottom, which I really like those kind. And I'm going to tight line now with this. This does transfer. When you blink, it will transfer down below. And it doesn't bother me when that happens, but we're going to do that now. Mascara now, and I absolutely love the L'Oreal Air Volume Mascara. This is, again, the blackest black they make, and I can tell I'm getting to the bottom of this. It's starting to clump, but I can sort of comb through it and I'm okay. This has been my favorite mascara to date. It is, to me, an excellent dupe for Too Faced Better Than Sex, even more than the Lash Paradise. And I have to say, it has been probably one of my favorite finds of 2021. So if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend. That's if you like the same criteria that I do. I like length, but I also need volume. And this gives me both. Time for the brows. Now, I am a Benefit gal. I have only used Benefit brow products and I absolutely love them. However, I am on the lookout for alternatives that are more budget friendly for those of you that have to use more than one product. You know, it all adds up, but they last forever. That is one thing I can say, is that they last a long time. So you guys, I did find an alternative brow powder that I feel good about letting you guys know about. I'm really liking it. It is called BDB, the $1 Billion Brows. This is in taupe, so of course you'll have to find a color that works well for you. And I'm going to go ahead and get going on this. Always have to soften that out with my little spoolie here. Okay, so this is a process for me. I have not found a gel yet, a tinted eyebrow gel yet that I feel good about letting you guys know about. So I'm going to go to my go-to, which is my Benefit. This is in the color 4.5. I think one of the biggest tips that I could give you regarding eyebrows, you know, when you're applying and making them look better, whatever it is, whether it's the powder, whether it's this, don't ever just draw a line when you get to this point. Even with your powder, you're going to want to simulate sort of those little eyebrow hairs that are going to be growing this way. So try not to, for instance, you know, when you're using your powder, you're all great doing it this way and then you just do a line here. Try to avoid doing that. I think at the end you will create a much more natural look. This is the 24-hour brow gel by Benefit. I really like it. It just literally, once it's there, and it's there all day. This step I like also doing after my tinted brow gel, because if there's any little globs that I may have created, this just really nicely just combs them out, and it is just the nice finishing touch to the whole process. All right, I got my hair on. I'm ready to finish this look up here. So let's go right to the lips. And I'm probably, I don't know, I might have to do a little bit more to the eyes and that often happens. I'll get done and get my hair on and get ready and realize, I need to do a little something to my eyes. But I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with my absolute favorite lip liner ever, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. I'm going to do that now. I feel like something light and sort of nude on my lips. Love this. This is Maybelline. This is called Baddest Beige. It's in the color 050. This is a really cool lipstick. I love it because it is kind of sheer and it wears kind of like a balm, in between a lipstick and a balm. And I really love the texture of it. However, it does not last long at all. So it has to be reapplied often through the day if you're going out and you want to keep your lips looking nice. But it's one of my favorites in my collection. I really do love this. Very pretty. I'm going to go back into the Patrick Ta kind of bronzing palette. I'm going to go in with this, and I'm actually going to incorporate this below the lower lash line. I did apply this directly below the original color I put in, so you're going to feel like, wow, that is really low. But it's going to give a really pretty smoky, bright look, I think. The star of this look, and it really surprised me, is this Patrick Ta bronzing palette. I did use it a bit as a contour, but putting it, you know, into the eyes, I think is what really bumped this look up. I think this is a really pretty summer look. I think they're just going to be working in the front of the house for a while. I've been waiting for it to go away. I'm going to sum this up by saying I think this is a really pretty, brightening, a very pretty sun sort of washed look for fair skin. I think adding this at the end, incorporating it into the eye look, is what really bumped this look up.